Hello and welcome to lesson number 6 of How to Read Music Notes on the Ledger. And in this lesson you're going to discover how we name the notes and what are the names of the notes on the ledger and what are the names of the notes on the piano. So this is music notation, note names. How do we name the notes? Well, the keys on the piano keyboard have names, letter names for the notes, and the notes on the staff also have letter names, and we connect the notes on the staff to the notes on the piano. Now, reading the sheet music and knowing what sort of notes you need to play on the piano, not just the letter name, but also the pitch, exactly whereabouts, say for example, whereabouts in the piano should you be playing. Is it going to be middle C, or is it going to be the C just above, one octave above, or is it going to be a C even further above, higher, or a C even lower? So just don't worry about this. If you find it difficult, you're not alone. Just please upload a comment in the private members Facebook group, and I will get back to you. So just write a text message in the Facebook group, or you can record a video of yourself just explaining what the problems are that you're having. But I've got a whole lot of exercises here for you to do in the next few lessons, so hopefully this will help you out. And you'll see a photo here on the video. I've got a keyboard which I've rotated on the left hand side, and then I have a stab on the right hand side, and on there I've written middle C, and then I've got an arrow pointing from middle C on the stab to the middle C, which is on the piano keyboard. This is just to give you an example of the sorts of things we'll be going through. So the notes on the staff correspond to the notes on the keyboard, and just recall from previous lessons that there is a musical alphabet which contains only 7 letters. So that starts from letter A and it finishes at letter G. So when you get to letter G, you need to start back again at letter A. So you'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. And when we're counting the number of notes, we often count in terms of octaves, so 8 notes. So although there are only 7 different letters, so for example here in this picture on the left-hand side, I've drawn a keyboard and I've labelled the notes from C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we've got the C down here, say at middle C, and the C just one above. And what I have done is I've coloured the notes that I've drawn in circles, and I've coloured the notes that appear on the lines as in yellow, and the notes that appear in the spaces I've coloured them in red. And so that's to help you out. And I've also put little arrows down here on the letter names where I've written C, D, E, F, G, so on. I've put in colour the notes that are on the lines, the C, E, G, B. I've coloured them in yellow font, and then the letter notes that I've labelled in D, F, A, C, I've put in red lettering. But you see I've got the arrows from C up to the middle C. Middle C has its own ledger line, and then the E that goes up, that's sort of, I've tried to put that on the first line of the staff, but we'll go into that in more detail a bit later. So we're going to start off by going through the letter C first, and C also happens to be the most common letter name. It's the most common note. It's a reference point that we use to link the grand staff to the piano, and this is middle C. Middle C is found in, the name would suggest, in the middle of the piano keyboard. It also sits by itself in the middle of the staff, between the treble clef and the bass clef. It has its own little ledger line because it's not actually in the treble clef and it's not in the bass clef, and that's why it has its own little line for itself there. And you can see this diagram. We've linked, on the right hand side you've got the staff with middle C written there. On the left hand side you've got the piano keyboard with the little red dot that shows where the C is played on the piano. So I have an exercise here for you to do at home. What you need to do is you need to draw the stabs, draw the 5 ledger lines, put a treble clef on the first set and put a bass clef on the second staff. Then write your own little, draw your own middle C in the middle. Then draw your own keyboard. Remember, you need to have the 2 black keys and 3 black keys, and draw a little round circle for your C key. If you have some pencils or felt tip pens, you can colour in your C notes with a red pen as well. Now please do this over the next 5 days. Make 2 drawings and then take a photo of your drawings and upload them into our private Facebook members group so that I can see and keep track of what people have done and see if there are any issues as well. So the next note we're going to do now is the G, and this is specifically the G from the G clef. Right, where is this G? Well, you can see it on the picture on the video. The G is shown on the second line of the staff that has the treble clef. It's also shown on the keyboard on the far left, the rotated keyboard, as the note that appears where the 3 black keys are. It's just between the first 2 of those black keys. And of course it comes after F if you're going back to the alphabet. So yes, I've just said here in this slide, find the set of 3 black keys. It's going to be the white note that sits between the first 2 black keys from the set of 3, and that's called G. It also sits to the right of F. Now, also take note that if you look at the set of 2 black keys just before it, that key on the left of that is going to be middle C. So the G is only going to be a few notes above middle C. It's not it's only like 5 notes above. It's not very far away from middle C. So in fact, on the picture on the left hand side of the video now, you can see I've drawn middle C in the middle of the stars, and then I've got the G note above. So if you count, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 notes from middle C to G. So if you look at the top staff that contains the treble clef, and you note that the G sits on the second ledger line of the staff containing the treble clef. And remember, the treble clef has another name. Do you remember the name for the treble clef? The treble clef is also called the G clef, and the reason why the treble clef is called the G clef is because it begins its life by circling around the second ledger line. And as we know, any note that appears on the second ledger line is going to be a G, and that is why the treble clef is also called a G clef. I mean, apart from that, it also almost could be a capital G in some handwriting, or it could be a part of a lowercase g as well. So, now, where is G on the piano? Well, as you know, you need to find the set of 3 black keys, and it's a white note that sits between the first 2 black keys from the set of 3 is called G. So you know this. So with this exercise, you need to get your staff, draw the 5 ledger lines, draw the treble clef, put a note on the second ledger line, that's going to be your G. Now you need to get your piano keyboard and draw a circle on the piano keyboard. That's going to be your G, and then connect the 2 together. Now take some photos of this homework and upload it to the private Facebook members group, please, so that I can see what you've done. Now the next note we're going to go through is F, and the F that we're going to do is in the bass clef. So this is below middle C, so it's going to be a bit lower in pitch. Now, to find the F, it's pretty easy on the keyboard. All you need to do is find the set of 3 black keys, and the F is a white key to the left of the first of those 3 black keys. Now, where is it on the staff? Well, if we go to the staff that has the bass clef on it and count the ledger lines, with the number 1 being the bottom line, up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then if we go to the 4th ledger line, which happens to be the second line from the top, that is the line that contains is where the bass clef sort of circles around and has those 2 little dots around that. And any note that's going to be appearing on the 4th ledger line is going to be called an F note. So yes, as I said before, The bass clef is also called an F clef, and the reason is because the bass clef circles around the fourth line, and this is a line where any note that appears on there is going to be called an F. So as before, you have an exercise at home where you need to draw the grand staff, then draw a note in the bass clef on the fourth line, and write F next to it. And then I'd like you also to draw your own keyboard. Do you remember the set of 2 keys and the set of 3 keys? And draw a circle on there, label it F, then draw a line connecting the keyboard to the staff. And be sure to take a photo of the work that you've done and upload it to the Facebook group, please. So, do the work, make it real. So draw your staves, label them with the treble and bass clefs. Draw your middle C, draw your G on the treble clef, and draw your F on the bass clef. Then do the same, likewise with the keyboard. Draw your keyboard and draw the round circles, the notes on your keyboard, as above, the middle C, the G and the treble clef, and the F and the bass clef. Great, well done, congratulations, and I shall see you in the next lesson.